Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, hope you're all well. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at a new guitar that's just hit the market from a company that you probably know of called Manson ORYX. Based in the southwest of England, they are a small guitar workshop, relatively small guitar workshop that came to fame really through Matt Bellamy of Muse, who started using their guitars. You might also know Mikey Demus, the guitarist from Skindred, who also has a signature model with Manson. But they've been around a long time. I've known about them for many years. Never actually had the luxury of playing one of their guitars at any kind of extended amount of time. That's why I'm excited about this video. So we're going to be looking at the ORYX 6. This guitar is a brand new guitar from Manson, and it's been designed in collaboration with none other than Adam Nolly Getgood, who I'm sure we all know. If you're watching my channel, I'm sure you know who Nolly is by now. Good friend. I'm lucky enough to call him a good friend, and he reached out to say, I would really love you to check out this guitar, put it through its paces, through different amps and all sorts of stuff like that. I'd love to know what you think. Which brings me on to the next point, which is this is a sponsored video. Manson have paid me to check out this guitar. Any opinions of my own, I'll leave them to the end as best I can, but I just needed to let you know. So yeah, Nolly helped design this guitar. It's kind of designed around his, I suppose, aesthetic in terms of the things he likes in guitar styles. Not only that, but the kind of the construction of it, the hardware, the sort of the wood choices. I'm sure he had quite a big hand in that, and generally just the overview of the guitar. Like it needed to be really a go-to #1 guitar for Nolly. And if you follow him on Instagram, you've probably seen that he does use this as his #1 guitar and has been recording loads of songs. Any song that you've seen him release recently was recorded with his ORYX 6. Anyway, I've given you an introduction, so let's check out the guitar. So this is the ORYX 6, and first things first, the colour is a lovely colour. It's like a pastel kind of dark green. It's actually called Nolly Racing Green. It's a 24 fret double humbucker hardtail guitar with the tunematic bridge and the string through. One of my favourite features of this guitar is the tuners. Instead of tuning Machinehead buttons, they're wheels, which I'm sure you've seen on other guitars, but it's my first time using them and they're so accurate. The tuning stability of this guitar is fantastic. It's a two-piece Alder body. I love Alder, it's probably my favourite tone wood. It's a string through construction. It's a modern D neck carve, 12-inch radius. The fretboard is Richlight, which some of you may not have heard of before. It's very similar in tone and looks to Ebony. It's got a snappy kind of attack to it. It also features 24 Jeska stainless steel medium jumbo frets. Something else that's cool, you've got the Graphtec nut, but what I really like is they've also included this little like string dampener thing you should be able to see on the close-up, but just behind the nut. I've always found when I've added like foam or something behind the nut, although it helps with that ringing when you're using heavier strings and lower tunings, sometimes it does affect the sort of very high end of the guitar, but so far with this, it doesn't seem to be doing so. You've got a Tone Pros tunematic bridge. Now, one thing that's interesting here is that Nolly sort of mentioned that it's his favourite sounding bridge. Now, he's been talking about how different bridges have different sounds. He seems to think that the hip shot, the Charleston and that kind of stuff adds a lot of brightness. It's a very modern sounding piece of hardware to add to your guitar, and I can actually confirm that in that my Machineheads, custom Machineheads with the Charleston is very bright. One thing that's interesting here is that it does sound thick using this bridge, and that was exactly why he chose to use this on this guitar, saying it just gives you a better full range of sonics, and generally it just sounds beefier and thicker, which he likes for recording purposes, I guess. Onto the pickups. I'm sure you're not surprised, but these are bare knuckle polymaths, which are the Nolly signature set. I don't have a lot of experience with these yet, so I'm really I've had this guitar the last couple of days, been loving the way it sounds, so that's cool. Something else to mention is you've got a 3-way blade switch pickup selector, but it's a 3x3-way. What that basically means is that essentially you've got your 3-way like this, then you tip it over towards you, and it changes the wiring of the pickups to parallel. So they're still humbucking, but they give you more flavor of like a single coil kind of tone. So you've basically got 6 different selections of pickup voicing, which is really cool. It's a nice different kind of design. I'm not really familiar with this whole like 3x3-way sort of rocking back and forth thing, but it's cool. There is a very specific treble bleed cap resistor on the volume to give even taper high-end extension as you roll back. Can actually make the pickups sound quite paff if you roll back a touch. So that's a really nice feature as well, something that he specifically asked for within the wiring of this. And one other small aesthetic, which I quite like, is the see-through control cavity. Just looks cool. I think that about wraps up the spec for this guitar. The 6-string version retails for $2,899, which, you know, that's quite a chod of money, but when you consider that like it's made hand-built in the UK in a small custom shop, it is worth saying that the build quality here is second to none. Really nice. They've definitely not cut any corners here. Even things like the inset machine head washers and stuff, I really like the touch there. Over the last couple of days I've been jamming it through my Quad Cortex with a few presets and just enjoying myself. But in this video I've also got my Kraken, twin sister, the 5150 and the Soldano, and I've got a tube screamer sat in front. So we're going to hear it in a couple of different applications, and yeah, hopefully we can get some sick tones from it. Okay, so we'll start out with just a straight up sort of tone test of the guitar. So I'm running it through the twin sister on pretty much a clean as I like it. So we'll start with the bridge, and then the idea I want to do here is first position, then swap over to its parallel position so you can hear the difference, move through sequentially. So here we go. So at this point, I'm just going to mess around a little bit with this tone, and then we'll move across to different amps and see how it sounds. Cool, so we've tried it a little bit with the twin sister, so we've moved to the Kraken now. I'm using the Kraken on a crunch, so let's just have a listen to the guitar. Liking about the sound of it is it's kind of a little bit Les Paul-y in terms of that mid-range kind of barky thing. And again, I know these are, you know, lower output, more traditional output pickups as well, but again, with the snappiness of the fretboard, when you dig in, it does give you that. And again, older is really good for mid-range as a tone would, so that's great. So that's with the neck pickup in parallel. May as well throw on the tube screamer real quick. That's what I mean about the tuning thing. Like, it's wonderful, the action of the tuning there. Really enjoy. I really enjoy that. Anyway, let's move on to Soldano. So we may as well throw on the Tube Screamer. $51.50. Tube Screamer. So I've switched back over to the SLO and just going to dial in a lead tone. Just quickly throwing it onto the Super Kraken on a high gain as well, just to see how that works for some leads. It's time to give you my opinion of this guitar. It sounds awesome. Like, it really sounds good. All the pickup positions sound great. I had to get kind of used to this 3x3 way thing, just in terms of the action and the motion and the way that you change stuff, but it doesn't take very long to get used to something like that. You really get the most out of the pickups when you use a specific wiring approach rather than just straight up 3-way, you know. That's why we do it on mine. That's why they've done it here. It's very cool. In terms of the playability, like I say, it's the rich light fretboard, but honestly, it feels just like ebony. Like, genuinely just feels straight up like ebony, sounds like ebony. The fretboard radius is a modern, it's like the 12-inch fretboard radius. It's quite modern feeling. My favorite feature, aside from the way it sounds, is definitely the tuning stability, like the tuning, the tuners, the general intonation, the feel of the guitar in terms of its tuning. It's great. It's really sturdy. Like, I can't stress that enough. If you try one of these, I'm sure you'll agree. It just holds its tuning and it feels like it's not going to slip or anything like that. So I'm well impressed with that, to be honest. It's a very modern looking guitar, and again, it feels like a modern guitar. If I walked into a guitar shop, generally my eyes lean over towards your Strats, your Les Pauls, your Tellys, all those kind of shapes and all the rest of it. I generally don't lean in towards unique shaped guitars. If I walked into a guitar shop, I wouldn't necessarily look straight over towards this guitar hung up on the wall because it looks modern. It would be hung up with all the other modern looking guitars, and like I said, I don't do that. However, if the shop assistant or somebody said, you have to try this out, check it out, sit down with it, I'd sit it down, and honest to God, I honestly would probably end up walking out with it. Anyway, that about sums it up for this video of the Manson Guitar Works ORYX 6. I want to say huge thanks to Manson for sending this over and reaching out in the first place, and of course Nolly for, you know, wanting the same, basically getting in touch and saying I'd love you to try this out. I really appreciate that, so thank you. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and of course I will link all relevant links in the description box. But yeah, like, subscribe and share. I've been Rabea, and I will see you all very soon.